beige walls and like a blue-gray or something. I don't know. And guess what? I didn't touch it. I left it alone. Looks great. Whatever. I'm all good.
Yeah.
And now, coming to you from the K2 Studios in San Diego, California, it's the world-famous Chris and Christine Show.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? I am Chris.
And I'm Christine, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Chris and Christine Show.
Do indeed. Fantastic. How you guys doing? Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate that. I do. I know she does over there too.
Yes, I definitely do. And we have had so much fun looking at the statistics. Ooh, if I can even say that word.
Statistics. That's the word.
This week of our listeners. And we had our friends from across the seas join us back again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this week. Well, I mean, our northern friends from Canada, they were joining us.
Right.
So shout out for our Canadian neighbors. We also had our friends from Spain and Australia join us back this week.
Ooh, fancy pants.
Ooh, but there were so many new cities in the United States that joined us this week. And it was like, where are these people all coming from? It was so fantastic. And I think Chris had a favorite new town called Niceville.
Yes, I saw that. I'm like looking through the list and I see a town. What's this town? Niceville. Now, I wonder if that's not like, like it's, you call a fat person tiny. It's like the opposite of what it really is. I hope it's not like that.
I'm sure that everybody in Niceville is nice. And then the other one was, and our friends that live in this town, you're going to have to help us with it. I think it's called like Schaumburg, but we thought is it?
You even thought I was scumbag?
Okay, you guys, I get this text from Chris when I'm at work this week, and he's like, is there really a town named Scumbag? What are you talking about? And so we looked at it, and it's like SCHAUMBAUM, I think. So if you are from, and I hope we're saying it right, Sham, I can't even say it right now.
Shabam, maybe?
It's Shabam. I love it. So if you are from that little town, please reach out to us and tell us how to pronounce your town so we can give you a proper shout out.
Right.
Yeah. But
awesome.
I think our biggest cities this week were Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then in Central California, we had quite a little hot spot, which could be from family and friends. But we definitely had some areas around California that were peaking. But we had some other great Midwestern states pop up this week that we don't normally see. So shout out to all our new friends that joined us.
What's up, everybody? Listen in.
Yes.
Hello. Hey, and happy birthday. And happy anniversary and whatever else. Shout outs to all you guys.
Well, just to recap last week, we had a great episode last week, and we were talking about blending families and blending budgets. And we were also talking about a really unique engagement ring that this couple from the UK came up with. And so if you haven't listened to episode 12, definitely go back and listen to it because it was a fun one.
Yes, one of my favorites.
So I woke up to a text from Chris this morning. He texts me every morning. Actually, it's one of the things he's been super consistent about the whole time we've been dating. Yeah. It's normally like a good morning, babe.
Good morning.
Or I'm drinking coffee. Chris and I, we've mentioned before, he works nights. I don't. Of course, it's the weekend and we're both off. But we live about 15 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, right about 15 minutes apart. But I got a text message this morning. It was the typical, like, good morning, babe. And then a couple minutes later, he goes, hey, hun, do you know how to sew?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Thank God for that.
Why? So, Chris, do you want to tell everybody why you needed to know?
One of my old uniforms I still wear for work, one of the pants, one of the pocket inseams, I don't know what you call it, is like totally split. So I put my hands in my pocket. They either go into the pocket or they go into like my leg section or whatever. So it's hard to put keys in there and they fall to your shoe. But I'm like, well, gosh.
Does that really happen to you?
Oh yeah. So then I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I almost lost my keys. Where are my keys at? Oh, they're at my feet. But no, I said, hey, Christine, can you actually sew? And maybe just fix this little pocket or whatever. And she did that. It was great.
Yeah. So this morning he was like, can you sew? And I was like, yeah, I can sew. And so I'm going to keep saying so. So I actually have a sewing machine and I'm not fantastic at it. I mean, my seams are not always straight, but I knew that I was going to need it because I didn't want to stitch up his work pants by hand. I wanted a clean line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but when I was going through all my supplies at home before I came over here, I was like, oh, shoot, I only have gray thread. And so I said to Chris, with all the different things that we're going to be doing today, I need to stop by Walmart to be able to get a few things. And he's like, yeah, what do you need? And I said, oh, those sewing things. I have my sewing machine, but there's some sewing things that I need. And he's like,
yeah, she's speaking a foreign language and kind of stuff. I know nothing about sewing. I know there's like a needle and thread. And other than that, I don't know what you do with that.
Right. So I literally told him I need sewing things. Like I wasn't going to say I need thread and a couple of bobbins and all those things. So we went out to lunch today after I got here. And then we decided we're thinking about doing some things in the kids' bedroom here at Chris's house. So we went and looked at a couple of things at one store, and then we ended up at Walmart. And so when we entered in, Chris takes the boys and goes into the car section, of course, all the time because it's
or
like
the toy section or
Disneyland.
whatever.
Yeah,
that too.
Well, the car section is like Disneyland for Chris.
Well, the car cleaning section. Ooh,
Yes.
look at that. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, that's a new cleaning supply. That's Chris's thing. Everybody, every guy has a thing. His is car washes.
Yeah.
So he went there, and then I went to the sewing section, and I got blue thread because that's the color of his uniforms, and white. And as I was there, before I left, I've been really wanting to add some of my own touches to Chris's house. I mean, I don't live here, but...
Oh, you will?
Yes, I will. And I would like to start, dressing it up a little. Ladies out there, you want to have a little bit of your touch over your guy's place.
Yeah, I gave Christine permission. Yeah, to, decorate the place how she sees fit, because she's a girl, and girls have better, sight for that kind of thing, Like every HGTV show, the woman is always the decorator. The guy's like the guy, hammering away, building this, building that. Like, I would knock that wall down. I can do that. And the girl's like, yeah, I'm going to put a little formal thing here and a flower thing there. And I'm going to make this, and this. And the guy's like, yeah, well, where do I put the nail?
Yeah, so funny. Well, I can operate a power tool, but my strength is in the creative area. So Chris has given me permission, and we were at Walmart of all places, which is very reasonably priced. And I'd been eyeing the window in his kitchen he has this little jutted out window.
What's the thing called? There's a term for it.
Like a bay window? Not a bay window, but it's just
it's in the kitchen, right beyond the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
It's sticks out another foot or whatever, and then it's a big window that goes around like a atrium kind of, I guess.
Yeah, it has a little shelf. We don't know what the term is, but I've been looking at that area because it's really in a nice area and it overlooks the backyard. But I was like, oh, it just needs a little bit of a pop of color. And so while Chris and the boys were walking around looking at toys and car washing stuff, I decided to quickly wander over to the window treatment section. And I was looking at the window panels and the valances, and I was like, a curtain rod's only $1.97. It's so cheap.
$1.97?
$1.97.
Get two of them for that.
I know. And so then I was looking, and I could not find what I wanted, because what I wanted was a pop of color, but with like some kind of a pattern because I'm a more like vintage personality.
You are speaking a language I know nothing about.
So what I ended up doing is I couldn't find what I wanted. So I walked a couple of aisles over and I found a tablecloth that I loved.
I thought you were making a curtain though.
I know, right? And so I found this tablecloth that I really liked. And I was like thinking I could cut it down the middle, trim a little bit off, and it's the perfect size and length to make a little valance to go over the kitchen window.
What? What's a valance?
It's the little, like a little mini curtain. It's like 15 or 16 inches.
Oh, okay.
And so what I did is I got the thread to fix Chris's uniform because I could not forget that's the whole reason why we went to the store.
Thank you.
And then I got this tablecloth and I brought it home and I set up the sewing machine. And after I fixed Chris's pants, he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm making a curtain. And he's like, you're making a curtain? I said, yeah, out of a tablecloth. And so it only took like 30 minutes and I got it done. And then I got out the power tools and I hung the curtain rod and I got the cute little curtain set up in the kitchen. And how does it look, Chris?
It looks good. HGTV, eat your heart out. You know what I'm saying?
Has like yellows, reds, blues, things like that. But it was all about just like wanting to add a pop of color to the house because I just felt like I wanted to bring a little bit of my personality and sunshine into Chris's space.
And she did, and it's wonderful. Fantastic.
Thanks, babe.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
You can keep going. You keep doing your thing, and I'm all for it. I give you 100% permission to go and do whatever you got to do. Make it look fantastic.
Thank
Make
you.
it look bright, colorful, whatever. You know, it's all good. I love it. You know, I'm not very good at like when I bought this house, it was pretty much all ready to go. I didn't do anything to it. Like, I can't think of anything I really did to this place when I moved in here, like cosmetic-wise. Mm-hmm. Like, I pretty much, like, I didn't paint the walls. They're already painted and everything. I'm like, hey, whatever. Even in my room, it's got like this accent color, blue wall, beige walls, and like a blue-gray or something. I don't know. And guess what? I didn't touch it. I left it alone. Looks great. Whatever. I'm all good.
Yeah.
You know?
It's mostly like earth tones in his house, like beachy.
Yeah,
and like beachy up here and then like neutral tones, but
well, that's what sells houses, by the way.
Right.
If you keep your color like these kind of colors, like neutral, like you're saying, earthy colors or whatever, that's what sells houses. Speaking of house design, you know, back in like say like the 1960s, things were a little different. It was a little different time. Mm-hmm. And house design and interior design was much different then than it was now. And guess what? We are going to tell you all about that when we get back.
The Chris and Christine Show is now on Instagram at the K2 Show San Diego. Check out our latest pictures, videos, show teasers, and life updates on Instagram at the K2 Show San Diego. And now it's time for Hot Topics. Do.
Awesome. What's going on today, baby?
Actually, Chris is going to start us off with our first hot topic of the night. So I am going to throw it back over to you, hot stuff.
Wait, I got it. Thank you. So here we go. I just mentioned a minute ago that we were talking about houses and the different styles of houses from today versus, say, like the 1960s. And Christine was doing a little decorating downstairs, and we're talking about how the house was kind of like, I didn't have to do much to it.
Right.
Paint, wood flooring, all that fun stuff. It was very nice of my previous owner to do all that stuff for me, so I don't have to. It's great. I love it. Now, here's a list. We have a list of 10 ways the average American home is different today than it was in, say, the 1960s.
Yeah, there's a lot of like 1960s age houses in Southern California. So I'd be interested to hear how like your house is different from those because there's so many of them.
But a lot of those houses, people have definitely upgraded.
Yeah.
You know, they've tore out the floors and whatever, cabinets and paint the walls. I'm sure no one's rocking some shagged carpet anymore.
You never
I hope
know.
Not. Well, yeah, maybe. You never know. So here we go.
Powers, baby.
Austin Powers, yes. Okay, it says here, the first thing it says, Ranch-style homes were popular during the 1960s and an emphasis on landscaping.
Oh, yeah. My grandparents used to have one of those houses. I really liked it. The ranch style. It was like single story spread out, but that's
Right.
very different from what we have even in this neighborhood. It's like
Right.
2 stories.
Well, now it says, ranch homes were still popular today, but people now prefer craftsman-style houses.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What's the difference?
All those new craftsman style houses, they have all the like gingerbreading details on like the
Ooh,
trim.
It looks like a gingerbread house?
No, it's called gingerbreading. It's just like
Okay.
a aesthetic.
Oh, it
where-
has like those windows that they're like they don't really work. They're cupboard windows, right? Or like barn door windows.
Yeah, there's lots of different little details like that, like the craftsman finishes, things that look a little bit more custom rather than more ranchy.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, next it says inside a 1960s home, you'll find bold, bright colors throughout.
Oh, that's definitely different
The
from
60s,
yours.
like you'll see like was it hot green or
Yeah.
the avocado green?
Yeah, avocado green.
Green, a lot of greens and oranges and yellow, those weird yellows.
I grew up in a house that had like avocado green walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and had like the wallpaper that had like a little texture to it, not just like
Wallpaper?
flat paper. Yeah.
Well, it says today
older.
people like simple colors like black, white, and dark blues are preferred.
Yeah, kind of like you were talking about in your house. It's like neutral earth tones and
Right.
light blues and light browns, but nothing like super bold.
Well, speaking of the walls, it says here in the 1960s, wood paneling was a popular feature at most homes, like a wood cabin feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember some houses like that. I wonder how that would go over in a modern house. Like if you were to walk into this house, Chris, when you were getting ready to buy it, and all it was wood paneling.
Oh, gosh.
What
I'd
would
be
you
like-
have done?
I'd be like, well, don't throw a match anywhere. Burn the place down. But it says if wood paneling wasn't available in the 60s, wallpaper was also the
Yeah,
second
like
option.
I was saying,
Well, how about a
wallpaper.
wallpaper of wood paneling?
Yeah.
I've seen that too. Well, also says today walls are typically white, but accent walls like the one I have behind you is sometimes used to make the room pop. Like pop, pop. There's the room. Check that out. Now, also the next thing it says wood furnishings were also trendy in the mid 1900s. Although wood furniture is still popular today, we typically see wood as molding, flooring, finishings. As for flooring, shag carpet, speaking of which, reached its peak in the 1960s. So by 1970s, it's on its way out, or people still had it, but,
But going back to the wood furnishings that you were just talking about a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting because today we were looking at some furniture for Chris's landing area, right outside of his bedroom. We were talking about getting a desk for the boys to be able to do their schoolwork. And what's really interesting is that all of these pieces are like a particle board, but over the top is laminate. So it's not like real wood like you would get in the 60s and prior to that. And so even the kind of furniture that we have available, it's like faux wood.
yes, well, that's how they do it these days. Well, back to sorry to cut you off, but back to the list, it says mention shag carpets again. And of course, now it says everybody wants to get hardwood floors and wood flooring.
Yeah, you have some here.
Yes,
Very
my entire
nice.
house has wood. No, it's actually bamboo, is what they say.
Yours is bamboo floors?
Yes, you know that.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like maple. It's really light.
Well, I heard it was bamboo when I moved in, so I go off what they told me.
Well, there we go, everybody. Bamboo flooring.
Yes, I feel like I'm in China when I walk around here and bamboo everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It says also that in the 1950s. Okay, in the 1950s, it was common for couples to sleep in separate beds. And this practice lasted well into the 1960s. So we'd have like 2 little twin beds in our room.
Yeah.
You sleep over there, and I'll sleep over here. And when we, that way to wake each other up.
It's like what we used to see, even though it's not the same year, like I Love Lucy. Like,
Yeah.
Lucy was in a twin bed.
Was she? I don't remember.
And
Were they
Ricky
like that?
Ricardo was in another bed. Yes, they had twin beds.
They did?
Yes, they did.
I didn't pay that much attention,
Yeah.
I guess, to the show.
Because I remember one episode, she like pulled the little table out from in between and like squished them together.
Oh, no way.
Like, so I could see how that could work for some people. Like, if somebody's like a really active sleeper versus the other person.
We're talking the 1950s and 60s, excuse me. But today it says most people obviously has bigger bedrooms and normal beds, kings, queens, whatever. Okay, also it says here, as the baby boom reached, speaking of putting beds together, as the baby boom reached its peak in the 1960s, families moved into larger homes in the suburbs, like here, you know? A typical children's room today doubles as a playroom, too. You know, people do that, too, make extra rooms, playrooms, and so on and so forth. And for living rooms, large sectionals were the were the couch of choice for most homes in the 1960s. Large sectionals, huh? But you can still buy those today, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like friends growing up that we would like go to their grandparents' house. They'd have those really big sectionals. But I think that people are buying more of the smaller couches now. Like, we were just at that furniture store today, Chris. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And there were very few sectionals there. Everybody likes a couch and the love seat to like be a little bit separated.
Of course, yeah. And it says here in this article that smaller couches are becoming more popular.
Yeah, I think that people like a little bit of personal space and they like to have the setup. Like, here's the couch, here's the love seat, here's the recliner for dad to sit in after he gets off of work.
Right.
I think
Leave
that's
me alone. Give me my bourbon and my football and leave me
my
alone.
remote.
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic. Also, okay, here we go. Speaking of the kitchen,
Yeah.
which is a fun topic.
I love the kitchen. Let's go. I want to hear.
Okay, it says, as for the kitchen in the 1960s, they were decorated in bright colors and wood cabinets.
See, I'm a child that should have had a kitchen in the 60s.
But also, I think also on top of that, they also did this weird thing. They'd make like the colors like this weird bright green or something. Weird
Yeah.
color. It's like bright colors. If you know, for the wood cabinets, but there was this bright lime color to them and stuff, you know, and all that type of stuff. There was no granite, there was no marble,
Right,
or that fun stuff. And so today's kitchens have more subtle and stainless steel appliances are more popular.
Whites, blues, grays, yeah.
Yeah,
all
like
those
more
things.
like an industrial kitchen is more popular. It looks like it's a real kitchen that's used like in a, I don't know, bakery or maybe or
Right.
something like that. It's more fun.
So much white right now in kitchens. Like, I've been watching a lot of
yeah.
those HGTV shows, and it's like white, white, white.
Right, white and bright.
Right and bright. Yep.
Yeah, that's
but
the
very
style.
little color.
Speaking of kitchens, now in the 1960s, this is something I kind of want to bring back. In the 1960s, families sat down to eat dinner in the kitchen every night. In the kitchen, you would think you have in the dining room, but here it says kitchen. However, fewer kitchens are being used for family dinners these days. I think they really meant was dining rooms, right?
No, so in the 1960s ranch style houses, they'd have a dining area in the kitchen and then they'd have a formal dining room. So it's kind of like so in Chris's house, he has a really nice open kitchen and there's like a little cut out area that he doesn't really use for anything. There's like a toy chest that sits there right now. And I've been telling him, like, when it's time for me to move in, I'm going to bring my little round dining room table and bring it into the kitchen. He's like, a table in the kitchen? I was like, yeah, we'll like sit down and, you know, sometimes we could eat in the dining room. But maybe that's because that's the way I was raised, is that you have like an informal dining room area in the kitchen and then like a formal family dinner area in a dining room. And so I think that that's not so common in the current houses anymore just even you not having that experience is
Right.
there's like one dining area.
Well, some houses, they have this cool like breakfast nook, or not breakfast nook. I'm thinking, what's that thing that like an island that goes from like that spills out from like where the kitchen area is to like a bar area where like you sit. What's that called? Like a breakfast nook or something?
It's an island. Yeah.
Breakfast island or nook or whatever. A lot of houses have that, and that's kind of what I thought they meant by that. But people use that all the time, I would think.
Yeah, but this is different. But I see what you're saying. Like, that's taken the place of that dining area that used to be in the kitchen where people could be like face to face. And so we're bringing it back.
Right, but I also love, speaking of bringing it back, I like to have dinners as a family, dinners around the actual dinner table together, and no one's on devices, and everyone sits down and tells you how their day was. Everybody eats the food, and it's great. That's my dream thing,
Chris loves it when we cook anything at home, even if it's like a really quick dinner like tonight was. If we're even still sitting there and eating something together, it's just fun. So I think that there was some really great things about 1960s houses, even though we didn't want to bring back the shag carpeting and the lime green.
Oh, no. Save those for your van, guys.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I think
saying?
that there's still some really fun things about that era that we could definitely think about how to bring into this house.
Right. Fantastic. And when we get back, Christine's going to take the next one, the next hot topic. She's got another list of fun things. What is it? What you got? You got a hot tease?
The 5 household arguments that can easily be solved.
Oh, like how to do a podcast.
And we'll be right back after this.
The Chris and Christine Show is available everywhere on Google Play with Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and iHeartRadio.
So last week when we were talking about blending finances, we talked about how it's one of those things that people don't always think to talk about before they get married. And this hot topic that just came out from Good Housekeeping is another one of those things that you can get around a whole lot of arguments if you just get through these 5 things.
Really?
Yes. You're going to be shocked, Chris,
Okay.
because they're so simple. But having a conversation about these and figuring out what the common agreement is can it can eliminate some friction. So
Okay,
are you ready to talk about the 5 household arguments that we are going to solve on this podcast?
Or have on this podcast. Okay.
All right. So the first thing, and they're questions. So I'm going to ask you the question first.
Yes. Okay, good.
Because this is where the disagreement happens typically. So Chris,
Yes.
is there a right way to load the dishwasher?
Well, obviously, everybody knows the right way to load a dishwasher is you got to stack them so that all the water actually hits all the surfaces you need to get clean. And also, there's one thing I did learn. Check this out. I learned this, that when you put the silverware in the little silverware trays at the bottom, the little spot for the forks and knives and all that junk, is that you're supposed to put the actual forks facing up. I used to always put them down, but you face them up. But that way the water, cleans them better or something.
Right. So, first of all, you're right about how to load the dishwasher.
You're welcome. You're all welcome. You know what I'm saying?
I used to be like, just whatever, stack them however, but it says here, plates and bowls. Well, first of all, this article is saying, we're just going to tell you what the right answer is and help you solve it. So plates and bowls should be stacked so the dirty side faces inward towards the water spray arm.
Well, duh.
This is easy to achieve on the bottom rack where the tines are arranged in this way, but you should also apply the rule to the smaller things like bowls stacked on the top rack. So you have to think about where the water's going to spray.
And also, too, the water gets very hot, so you don't really want to put anything that's plastic on the bottom. Only hard ceramics and bowls and silverware.
Right. Typically, things will say top rack dishwasher
That's right.
safe.
It does tell you on there, too.
So then, along with talking about cutlery like forks and knives and things like that, it does say here that to bring your cutlery basket into line, forks should be arranged with the prongs pointing up, but knife blades should point down for safety.
Obviously, yes. You don't reach your hand in there, and next you go, ouch.
Right.
But you can still do it with a fork, too. But,
So after I started dating Chris, I had this mind-blowing moment when he showed me the little baskets that your cutlery goes in the dishwasher, that you put the little flap down, and it has little holes that keep those forks in perfect spots pointing up. Yeah, he taught me that. I was today years old when I learned that.
yeah.
But it definitely does make a difference. So people tend to get in little petty arguments about how do we load the dishwasher. So if you talk about it,
Oh,
and
here's
use
another
this
thing
little
too.
article,
Another thing with the dishwasher, speaking of which, check this out. It's also good. I don't care how you do it. Your house at home. I don't care how you tell your man, your wife, or whatever. Figure out a way to label the dishwasher clean or dirty, because you're like, is these clean or are they dirty? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's
I got
frustrating.
I got this cute little magnet.
It is cute.
And I got it on Amazon. And it's a little magnet. One side says clean, and then you flip the magnet over, flip it around, like, you know, and so the other side says dirty. And you just flip the magnet around whenever to let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, so the thing is, if you see it on clean, then that gives you the obligation to unload the dishwasher and not just leave all the clean dishes in there.
No, that's where you pull all your dishes from you need. Well, if you need a dish for something, you're like, oh, the dishwasher's got it. It's right there. I'll go get it from there.
That's so funny. So that's, yes, another conversation about who empties the dishwasher. But, okay, household argument number 2.
Okay.
So this question for you, Chris.
Okay.
Is it okay to leave the fridge door open while you add creamer to your coffee?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm usually pretty good about that stuff, closing right away and this and that.
And I'm not. I'm the one that's like, it's 10 seconds. I know. So if we didn't talk about this, I would just be like leaving it open, pouring my coffee, pouring the creamer, and then sticking the creamer back. It's only 30 seconds.
I think here's the thing. I think if you're keeping it open any longer than, say, 5 seconds or less, close it. If you're opening it for like 5 seconds, like open it real quick to grab something, put it in, whatever, that's like 5 seconds at the most. So if it's anything longer than that, I would say close it. But that's just me. What do I know?
And why is that, Chris? Why do you think we need to close it so quickly?
Well, you don't want the cold air to escape and your food.
Exactly. Bingo.
Well, duh. It's the same thing for a house. It's the same thing for like air conditioning. You don't keep the doors wide open and the AC going.
So what this article says is that even just being open for 30 seconds, it can lose 5 degrees of coolness or more from the fridge. And it could take a couple of hours to get the fridge back to that correct temperature.
No way.
Yeah. So you want to close it quickly and make sure it's closed. Get your creamer out. I mean, it's not like you have to like rush it open or anything. But if that's an issue in your relationship, you can cite the Chris and Christine show to your significant other and say, close the fridge, research proven. You're going to make the food go bad.
And close the freezer, too, because that's the one thing that pisses me off. I come home, and the freezer is ajar. It's not totally closed, and the ice cream is melted or super soft. No, but it has happened many a night. I get home, oh, I want some ice cream. I got some ice cream in the refrigerator. I'm so excited. And I go in there to get it. I'm like, why is it so soft? It's like frozen yogurt now.
Yeah, it must be the kids getting in there or something.
Oh, they don't close it all the way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the third household argument that can be easily solved by listening to this show. Question for you, Chris.
Yeah?
When hand washing dishes, is it best to dry them by hand or let them air dry on a drying rack?
I don't know. What's it? You're saying you take a towel, you like dry them really quick, then put them away?
Yeah, like do you wash them, stick them on the counter, dry them really fast and put them away? Or do you let them just sit and air dry?
Usually I don't do that. When I had my other house, I used to rent another house. It did not have a dishwasher. So I got very familiar on washing dishes. I had this cool little like dish rack. And it had this cool little like rubber tray underneath it that you aligned right under the sink. So when you put the wet dishes on it, it would actually like run the water off and run it back into the sink. So you had to make a puddle on the floor or whatever. So I used to do it like that. I never dried it. I just would hang them on the little rack there.
But now, when you're hand washing dishes, but you don't always put everything in the dishwasher.
Well, I don't have one of those rack things anymore, you know, 'cause I don't need it. So, but if I did have to wash dishes, I would throw them on the rack and let it do its thing.
Okay, friends, he's pretending like this never happens. This used to be not a disagreement, a discussion. But I would put one clean dish towel on the counter, and then for large items that I don't want to have take up the entire dishwasher, wash them and let them air dry for a minute. And then Chris is like, oh, we got to clear off the counter. And so he'd get a fresh, clean towel. And I said, but you should just use the one hanging there. He's like, there's bacteria. And that's exactly what it's saying here is you either let them air dry or get a fresh towel and dry them. Do not use one that's just been sitting out because it could have bacteria.
No, duh.
Yeah. So it looks like the book, according to Chris, is batting 100 right now. I should just say, yes, sir, whatever you say.
You're welcome. And you're all welcome.
Okay. Household argument number 4. I don't know if anybody out there has to deal with this, but the question of, Chris, do you need to rinse plates before putting them in the dishwasher?
You know, they say you don't. I think they say they don't, but I always do. I always figure I'm giving like, I feel like, how can that thing get like the stuff that's really coated on there? I always gotta I just rinse it off. I even go one extra step. I'll actually like pre-clean them before I clean them in the dishwasher. So I'll like clean them with soap and water and then throw them in the dishwasher and then turn the dishwasher on and let it do its thing.
Yeah, same here. So I pre-rinse and I pre-wash, but this article says no, simply scraping the food off and making sure the basic food residue is off is enough. Let the dishwasher do its job. So I think that's going to have to be a local decision, but please, friends, talk about it because you could get like into a really big argument if somebody keeps not rinsing the dishes and somebody else does it every single time. Ugh, it just creates friction.
I heard on that very point, I did hear that the dishwasher soap actually will bond to the food on the plate, and then if there's no food for the soap to bond to, it doesn't work right or something. Something to do with the
Interesting.
Yeah, something to the soap itself is that actually bonds to the food to remove it. And if there's no food for it to bond to, it doesn't work right or something. But that's what I heard.
We should try this. We should do an experiment with like half of the dishwasher with dishes where we pre-rinsed and half where we didn't, and just like see what the result is.
Like those commercials, those old Cascade commercials. Right. We put the casserole dish in there and like, oh, it's one half it's with this, half it's with that.
Right, but that's like a commercial. I want to see it actually happen in front of me. That'd be so fun.
Listen,
can we do that?
Yes, it's your kitchen now. You do whatever you want. You know, as long as I get to eat it first. Eat the food.
Okay, the last household argument, and I know that this is probably a conversation among a lot of people, especially coming up on winter. Is it more energy efficient to leave the heating on and just put it at a low setting all winter long?
Well, we don't really have like crazy cold winters here. You know, it does get like, here we are in middle of November. I'm wearing shorts. And it's warm. It was like, 80 degrees or something, or 75 degrees
pretty
today.
warm today.
But it does get a little cool at night. We're not quite there where it gets like really cold, but there's probably December, January around here. It gets pretty cold at night, you know. And I mean, people in Wisconsin are laughing at me. Cold. What are you talking about? You don't know cold. But no, it gets down to like 30, you know, maybe 30s or whatever. Anyways, so as far as leave the heater on, at night, I would not go super crazy with the heater. I like to do is set the fireplace, run the fireplace, and burn a bunch of fire, and then let that go out on its own. And by the time I wake up, it does get kind of cold, but it's like whatever.
Yeah.
And but I don't know.
So this article says that no, leaving the heating on when you're not at home wastes
who does
energy.
That? Who does that?
Well, some people do because they say, well, I don't want it to get below a certain temperature. I'll keep it low, but if it gets like too cold, I want it to kick on so it keeps it a little bit warm. But they're saying here, don't do that. It wastes energy. It's better to leave it off and then turn it on. And I know that could use more energy in the moment, but if this is an argument that you're having, we have some good rationale here and research from Good Housekeeping. So there you go. Yeah.
And I think also too, I mean, I guess if you do live in a climate, this goes for both climates. This goes for the super hot and the super cold. So say for the super hot, like Las Vegas or Phoenix, when you have the air conditioning, I heard you have to leave the air conditioning in like Phoenix on all day, 24/7. If you don't, I heard like the paint melts off your wall. I kid you not.
I think that's fake news.
I heard it's true. The
But I
paint will
think
like
during
melt off
summertime,
your wall.
yeah, during summertime, it's really hot.
Right. So I'm saying like I'm sure the same thing goes for like extreme winters, like places that have really, really cold. So like if you do not keep the heater going at least at a little bit, even if it doesn't have to be 80 or whatever, but like keep it up a little bit, just enough so like your water doesn't freeze in your pipes. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, however it works. I'm saying you probably have to keep it at a certain level. That's what they probably are talking about.
But if this is a common argument, or if any of these were that you typically have with your partner, go through this, listen to it again, and have a discussion between the two of you. Come to an agreement. Because like we've said before, as the Chris and Christine show, we just like to talk about the things that tend to be untalkable for lots of couples and just put it out there. Because our goal is to create happy, healthy relationships and happy and healthy listeners. Right, Chris?
That's right. A happy listener is a good listener. And yeah.
And now it's time for Would You Rather?
Okay, what you got?
All right, so this is kind of a hypothetical Would You Rather in the vein of home improvement, which we've kind of been talking about tonight. Are you ready?
Oh, I was born ready, baby.
All right, awesome. So hypothetically, you're given $20,000.
What? I'm rich.
And you can only use it to improve one area of the house. Would you rather use that $20,000 to improve the kitchen or the master bathroom? Go.
Now, are we talking about my house in particular or any house?
Yours.
My house. The master bathroom or the kitchen? Mm-hmm. Well, my master bathroom is pretty much already done, so I guess I have to use it for the kitchen. But if it was for any house in general, let's say we had a blank canvas to decide. Like say I had a house that was, everything was the same on it. I'd probably do the kitchen personally, because the kitchen, everybody sees that. Not everybody sees the master bathroom. So I can live with kind of like a bathroom. It's just me, you know? That's why I look at it. So you kind of want to like make like the front of your house nice, your living space nice. So the nice areas that everybody gets to see firsthand. Like the kitchen especially. Kitchens sell houses. Nice ones.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was kind of leaning towards the master bathroom for this house in particular, because if you guys were here to see Chris's bedroom, it doesn't have a door between the bedroom area and the bathroom. There's like these two smaller closets. So I would lump the closets in with the master bathroom renovation and like put a barn door and add all kinds of flair.
Well, that is fantastic. We both have different ideas, but they all come together in the end. We'll figure it out together as a team. Hashtag teamwork.
Teamwork.
Totally awesome.
K2. What?
Yes.
The K2 show.
The K2 show. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Chris and Christine show. I want to thank you guys personally, and Christine.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for all of our new listeners. Definitely follow us, subscribe, and share, because the Chris and Christine show is on the move.
So I hope you guys tune in for next week, and we will see you then. And until then, have a fantastic week.
Remember this week that life is too short to wake up in the morning with regret.
So love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason.
If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said that it would be easy.
They just promised it would be worth it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Chris.
And I'm Christine. And until next week,
keep moving forward.